What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out this episode of Raised A Geek. This week, we discuss episode 2 of Succession, and we do some movie trailer catch-up. So let's get into it. I'm Chris, and as always, I'm here with my buddy Don. How we doing, man?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? I am all right. Hanging in there, doing pretty good. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Been a long day. A lot of running around the city today, a lot of just trying to focus on things. My attention span has been for shit because the weather's starting to get nice. So I just want to be like, I just want to go outside and play.
It's officially summertime in Texas.
For at least a couple days. I think we're supposed to drop back down, but yeah, the last couple days have been 90 and sunshiny. So I'm just like, I just want to play outside.
Sure.
And getting my Nerf guns and my, toys out and just want to run around.
Summer toys.
Neighborhood hide and seek. Neighborhood tag.
If only adults still did stuff like that, I might be a little happier. I was thinking of what story could I tell? I went to C2E2 this last weekend.
So jealous.
Those. I know. Because we've been to one together in the past. Hope to go to more in the future. It just hasn't worked out yet. But yeah, I went that's like the big comic convention that's kind of on par with, well, nothing's on par with San Diego, but it's like that, a big convention with entertainment, whatever, for those who don't know. That happens in Chicago. Just a funny, quick story about it. So I think even when we went, and then a few other times when I've gone by myself the past few years, like my comic store has stopped selling the passes. And that's how I used to get them when I first started going. Like my comic store that I'd go to every week were selling C2E2 passes. So I'd buy my 3-day pass or whatever. They stopped doing it. And I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. I'll just go, and they're always on sale. So like for years, I wouldn't have a pass. I'd walk in, go down to where you get the badges from, like 3-day pass, please. They're like, okay, here you go. Get my lanyard. We went, same thing. None of us, I don't think, had the badges yet. We just bought them on site. Maybe one of us did, but
yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to do that again this year. Drive down to McCormick Place in Chicago. Not too far. It's like a half hour from my house. Go down to buy the badge. And I was like, 1 3-day pass, please. And the lady was like, we are completely sold out of 3-day passes. And we're also sold out of Saturday passes. And this is Saturday.
I was about to say, what day is this?
Yeah, I'm there. I skipped Friday, but I was going to buy a 3-day just so I can go Saturday and Sunday. It was cheaper. So I'm like, wait, what? And she was like, yeah, they sold out. Like, we don't have any 3-day passes, no Saturdays. I was like, are you like, seriously? Like last year I just walked in and bought one. She was like, no, this year, like, sales have been crazy. I don't know if it's because like COVID is over. If you're listening, you can't see what I'm doing, air quotes, when I say COVID is over. But yeah, so I'm pretty bummed out. I was like, okay, well, in my mind, I'm like, I guess I'm just going home and not going to C2E2 because I didn't plan this out. And she was like, well, a couple people I've sold these Sunday passes to, and they just go and they wear it. And if somebody says something, then you can leave, but you can still probably get in and they won't say anything. I was like, well, I don't know. It sounds kind of like risky. She was like, I also have these, which are exhibitor badges, which is like the badges they give to everyone who, has a booth there, like comic sellers, whoever has an exhibit. And she was like, I have these. They're like $110 though. And I think the 3-day pass was like 80. So it's like 30 more bucks. And I'm sitting there thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I was like, you know what? I drove here. I'm already here. Just give me the exhibitor pass. So I bought that. And so as I'm going up to get in the line, there's like hundreds of people waiting in line, like hundreds, this long line that if I get in the back of, it's going to be 30 minutes before I get in the place. So I get to the front of the line and they're like, 3-day passes this way. Exhibitor passes this way. I was like, oh shit. So I showed that and went through this little secret way around and walked in, passed the entire line, like didn't have to wait in any line. And I got into C2E2 like 30 minutes early before they even opened. And I was just like walking around.
That's awesome.
I was just walking around with like nobody in there with my exhibitor badge out. Like I'm some fucking big shit, even though, I'm just a dude.
Just a dude. That's worth the $30.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like a Disney Fast Pass, just for Comic-Con. I got to be first in line then for Kevin Eastman. It was great.
That's awesome.
So $30 well spent.
We got a lot to talk about this week. We got Succession episode 2 of the final season here, but we all got a must have been maybe C2E2. I don't know what it was, but we just got a massive trailer dump of stuff over this weekend. And these couple days, everybody was like, we're going to drop new trailers for things. So we're going to talk about some impressions of some of these trailers for things that we talked about. So that's how we're going to start out this episode. First up on my list is the Blue Beetle trailer. So this is kind of post-Flash coming out in August, DC Films. Is this considered the first film of the DCU or not really? It's still kind of a Snyderverse stowaway.
Good question. I think it was on the plan before James Gunn, but I think he's adopted it probably as like a honorary DCEU film, I would guess. I that's what I think I kind of read. So something that was planned before, but he's kind of come in and put his fingerprints on it a little bit to make it something like that.
He seemed excited about it in his little State of the Union, where Shazam 2, he was like, we got Shazam over there doing his thing. Let's talk about the Flash. And then Blue Beetle, he seemed more excited about than Shazam 2. So Blue Beetle is a movie.
We're gonna work under the assumption that it's the first movie of James Gunn's DC universe for now. Yeah.
We got a trailer for the Blue Beetle. I know nothing about the Blue Beetle.
Yeah, I know of his existence, but
I don't even know if I knew of his existence.
I'm not a huge Blue Beetle. I know comic DC fans are going to crucify me if I'm wrong, but I think he's usually tied heavily with like Booster Gold.
I've seen a lot of pictures of them together, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're like the buddy team up kind of a duo. So, but yeah, now Blue Beetle's getting his own flick.
Yeah, so coming to the screen, 2023 Blue Beetle movie has Jamie Reyes is the main character. He's an ordinary teen who finds himself bonded to one of the most powerful artifacts in the DC universe. So basically, and I made this comparison when we were talking about it, this is basically DC's Miss Marvel. The plot looked exactly the same. Some of the shots looked exactly the same. Like that's all I saw in this trailer was just Miss Marvel. Him and his friends sitting on the rooftop with their feet dangling, talking about their powers. It just all screamed. It just looked like Miss Marvel. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind Miss Marvel, I guess. This movie looked fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not pumped for DC, so it's hard to be more excited.
Yeah. Your run-of-the-mill teenager gets imbued with a power set, and then whoever's power that belongs to decides to come after them and get their power back. We've kind of seen it a few times, like you just said, Miss Marvel. I'm sure Blue Beetle comics have been around longer than Radiant Black comics, but that's one book I'm reading where it's like almost the same plot. So yeah, we've kind of seen it before. But yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't look bad. I mean, the visuals looked cool in the trailer. It looks, I don't know, like it's going to be a little more on the comedic, goofier side. Of course, you got fucking George Lopez in there. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, but I think we even when we were talking, we were just kind of like, does that just kind of look generic? Like, yeah, it does. I mean, that's not going to be a terrible thing. I know we don't talk about it too much in here, but there's a lot of like superhero fatigue going around for movies and shows that just look like this.
Yeah.
So whether this one is going to fall into that category, I guess is yet to be seen. I won't judge without seeing it or seeing more, but yeah, just like another new teen superhero movie that we're about to have thrust upon us.
Next trailer we got, which I think dropped today, Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. So this is the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. So this is an animated flick starring Miles Morales, and its synopsis is as follows. Miles Morales catapults across the multiverse where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. When the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles must redefine what it means to be a hero. So it has a lot of most of the same voice cast coming back. It just looks like more Spider-Verse, which I can't say is a bad thing in any shape.
No, because I think if you go back into our catalog when we ranked the Spider-Man movies, we both had the first Spider-Verse movie ranked pretty high. I think either number one for both or like one or two. It was definitely at least one or two for us. For all the Spider-Man movies, so all the live action, the animated one we said was one of the best ones, and I still stand by that.
Yeah, it's just outside of the typical superhero problem of the third act just being too much, and just going that fight with Kingpin just never ends.
It was hard. It was a strike on your senses.
You just are going, and I was just waiting for the seizure to kick in, and luckily it didn't, and I survived my viewing. But even though I spent that whole movie wondering if I accidentally went into the 3D one, I was like, this looks like they're playing the 3D one, but nobody got glasses.
Like, I'm having an eyeball headache.
Yeah. What? So it was a little confusing, but once I watched it at home, I didn't have that problem. So love that movie. Super pumped for the next one. I don't, because I'm a terrible podcast host or whatnot. Apparently there's all kinds of people freaking out about how they broke the MCU talking about Earth 2099. I don't know anything about that. So
yeah, I just saw that was some scene like the Spider-Man 2099 character mentioned. He kind of was taught, it's like an Easter egg in the trailer talking about the boy on this world running around with Doctor Strange is Earth 19999 or something. So it's basically like a reference to the last Spider-Man Tom Holland movie existing,
and it's the same multiverse that they're running around in,
right? Something like that. So that might be something to keep your eye on and see how that might tie in. But yeah, I'm with you. I like the trailer. Looks fun. It looks very busy. I know we were just talking about busyness. It looks like it's going to be very, very busy, and I don't want to say complicated, but yeah, for an animated movie, it might be pretty complicated, but it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be fun. Looks
excited
great.
for it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. You can't tell me I'm not. So, out of all the superhero movies and things are coming, it's probably skyrocketed to the top of my list, just purely off of my love for the original. So, hopefully they don't let me down.
Agreed.
Next up, we finally got a trailer for Secret Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson over on Disney Plus. It is about Fury and Talos trying to stop the Skrulls who have infiltrated the highest spheres of the Marvel universe. So this is kind of like kicking off from Miss Marvel and just him being out into that world and the Marvels and whatever else going on with Skrulls in space, which is a portion of the MCU that I always forget exists. So here's a show about it, and they showed a lot of just typical MCU. It had a little bit more of a grounded feel, even though it was about shape-shifting aliens. It felt a little bit more like Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I thought was cool. But overall, it just comes out June 21st on Disney Plus, and it looked fine. That's going to be my MO for all of these trailers. I will admittedly say I have a little bit of the superhero fatigue. Based upon the quality of the last handful of just movies in general. It's just kind of is a little tough. And but this one being on Disney Plus and half an hour once a week, I can fake that.
Yeah, you still haven't even seen Ant-Man yet. So
I have not seen Ant-Man yet.
Your fatigue is real.
I've seen Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't seen Ant-Man.
I get it. Who'd have thought that a year ago if someone told you that you're not going to go see Quantumania with Kang, but you will go see Dungeons and Dragons with Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez.
Hey, Dungeons and Dragons was hell of entertaining.
We'll have a talk about it, I'm sure, when I see it.
It's definitely worth the watch.
No, I like this. This trailer looked cool to me. I like Sam Jackson's Nick Fury getting some spotlight. He's always kind of been like the B character. When has he been the hero of something just on his own? I think this is his chance, finally his payoff for that. Even though it is a story about the Skrulls, I liked that this trailer kind of focused more on, like you said, the groundedness. It looks, I like when the MCU does more like espionage thriller, like government agency type stuff. Unless you're the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Yeah.
But like you said, like Falcon Winter Soldier, and even the Winter Soldier Captain America movie, which is one of the best Marvel movies, was like that. So if that can capture some kind of essence of that, I'm down with it. They always do pretty good with that in my eyes. Amelia Clark's on this, which is cool. See her debut in the MCU. People love her from her time as Daenerys. My goodness. The Mother of Dragons is now in the MCU.
Which I got confused about because she was in Solo, the Star Wars movie, and she looked the same. So then I thought I was like, oh, they're bringing her back. And I was like, wait, Star Wars and MCU are two different things. I'm getting all my Disney franchises mixed up.
It's funny how many people from Game of Thrones are in the MCU now. Like a lot of them. She's in it. Jon Snow is Black Knight. The other Stark, dude. Rob Stark is in the Eternals. I mean, Fox movies don't really count, but Sansa was Jean Grey and Phoenix, and
other girl was in New Mutants.
She was. You're right. All the Starks are some kind of superhero. It's time to finally cast. What's his name? Ned Stark. What's his real name? Anyway, make him like
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean for The Thing. Come on, let's do it.
Sean Bean from the memes.
But yeah, I don't know. It looks cool. I'll be watching.
And it looks like it's going to be like Nick Fury's swan song. Like they even prefaced in the trailer like the last battle. Fight. Yeah, one last fight, one last thing. So it seems like it's going to kind of be his curtain call.
I'm sure that contract of his is probably almost up. And he's like, you know what? I've made a lot of these.
And I've made a lot of money.
Right.
They don't want to pay me more money to make more. So I'm out.
Yeah.
They got to pay Harrison Ford now, who is on the set filming without a mustache. The one character trait that Thunderbolt Ross has is that beefy mustache. And Harrison Ford is like, fuck that. I don't need no mustache.
Yeah, that's not right.
It's weird. It's weird. I was like, that's kind of odd.
Hopefully they digitally put it in, like they took Henry Cavill's off. Like hopefully they put his on.
God, I really want that to be like I want Harrison Ford to just be like, I'm not growing a mustache. You work your magic and just make it work. You're the CGI kings.
I'm not
de-age Robert Downey Jr. You can put a mustache on my face. That'd be amazing. Last trailer I saved. I don't even know what it was for last. Did you watch the Barbie trailer?
I did.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what I watched. I watched an hour. I watched a minute and 45 seconds of Barbie.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Nobody does.
I was hoping a trailer was going to let me know what this movie was. The trailer did not let me know. I mean, I guess it maybe did. Here's the synopsis for Barbie. To live in Barbie land is to be the perfect being in a perfect place, unless you have a full-on existential crisis, or you're Ken. That's the synopsis for this film.
Uh-huh.
It stars every white person in Hollywood.
Plus Simu Liu.
I mean, there was some, but it just was, Barbie. I don't even know what to make of this movie. I mean, it looks like she's going to try to come into the real world, and I'm sure it's going to be Enchanted or some version of that where a fictional character comes to life in the real world. It's basically going to be a remake of Mannequin.
Is that what they want to do?
She's going to come to life in a store window.
I think the point of these trailers for this movie is they don't want you to know what this movie is. And I kind of think that's what's going on. I remember reading when that first little teaser came out, like, it's a Barbie movie, but you have no idea what we're going to do with this.
Yeah.
Like nobody really does. And I think they want to keep it that way.
I'm fine with that.
And just kind of let you experience whatever they've made here. Greta Gerwig, is that her name?
Yeah.
What else has she directed?
She did Little Women.
Okay.
And then she did that other movie with that girl who did that thing.
That other movie with
Lady Bird. She did Lady Bird, which I know was super loved.
Right. Oscar nominated
and a whole big thing. So she's known for Greenberg,
okay,
Lady Bird, Little Women.
Okay. So she's like a acclaimed director.
Yes.
I think a lot of the hype around the movie is around her, it being her project too. Then,
yeah,
but I agree that who knows? I mean, it's just the trailer kind of showing the characters in the Barbie land right now, but we really don't know what the movie's going to be. So, am I actually going to go see Barbie in a movie theater? I don't know yet. I can't answer that question. I guess I'll kind of wait to see when it comes out what people are saying about it. But
if they go all the way to release without showing what the movie's about, I might go see it. Just out of pure, but I like the people involved in the movie, and
well, because that doesn't happen enough. Not knowing.
I know.
Like, yeah.
Unless you willfully just like ignore media, which is really hard to do nowadays.
Yeah. When they do that and they pull it off successfully, and it's like some kind of movie that blows your mind, like they did it with what was that movie we just watched? Berserker. Wasn't there? What's the movie? Recently, Berserk, where
the comic book with Keanu Reeves.
No, but that is called Berserker. What was that movie? We talked about it on this show with horror movie, the tunnels underneath.
Oh, Barbarian.
Like, Barbarian. Why was I calling it Berserker? Sorry, everybody. But yeah, that was like an example recently where very little was known about that movie, period. And like
that was the marketing. Exactly. Know as little as possible going into this movie.
So when people went to see it, they were like, what the fuck is this? And that's kind of maybe what they want to do with Barbie. So
somehow we compared Barbarian and Barbie.
Barbarian Barbie coming to a store near you.
We're all out of time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man. Yeah. Trailer recap went way too long. So
did it?
Who knows? It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Exactly.
Which right now I want to talk about Succession season 4, episode 2, titled Rehearsal. Just came out this week. We are now one step closer to the finale.
They said how many episodes are in this season?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen a name or a number yet.
Yeah, it's not important. I was just, usually at some point in the final season of something, I start getting my countdown anxiety on. Like, no, there's only 5 left. There's only 4
Can
left.
Can they wrap this up?
Right.
I know. I just went through it with Servant.
Okay.
So Rehearsal, season 4, episode 2 of Succession. Synopsis goes as follows. While Kendall, Shiv, and Roman consider an aggressive play on the Matsson deal, Connor tries to make the most of his wedding rehearsal dinner.
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
That is exactly what happened. And what is girl's name? What's his assistant's name?
Maggie?
No.
Am I making that up?
You're 100% making that up.
She looks like she's got that like bangs haircut. She reminds me of Joker's newest in the comics, like his replacement Harley that they've had recently.
Yeah.
I can't remember her damn name either. We're really bad with names here on the show. For those of you who haven't heard us, Punchline, I think it was her name.
Punchline, yeah.
She looks like if they did a live action Punchline, she could play her.
She does. She really does. But yeah, and IMDb's not adding her on the list, so she's just going to be news anchor lady. I wanted to talk about the newsreel.
Logan's assistant. That's what
Logan's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And him pulling his weight. That made me laugh. I loved everyone laughing and making fun of this poor woman trying to be a news anchor. Once again, horrible people doing horrible things.
Well, that's what this show is. I loved that she wasn't good and she's Logan's girlfriend, so he has to kind of like tiptoe around it, but he knows she's not good. And he asked Tom like multiple times, and Tom, being the good company man, is like, oh no, she's okay. She could use some work. But like the more Logan kept pushing on it, like Tom started cracking a little bit because he knows she's not ready for it, or she's never going to be ready for it. And just like that little back and forth between Tom and Logan, I thought was cool. I liked it a lot.
Yes, I liked seeing more and more him, like Tom, kind of breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think once Logan saw Fisher Stevens laughing at it and realized which was funny when he was like, open your laptop, do it.
Yeah.
Because he closed his laptop.
Yeah.
And I think once he realized everyone was literally making fun of her.
In that scene, I remember, for those who watched, you know what I'm talking about. In that scene, I got mad when they were like going to make Fisher Stevens, because we don't know his character name. That's the actor name, Fisher Stevens.
Because once again, we're terrible at names.
Yeah. When they were having him open his laptop and he didn't want to because he didn't want Logan to see, all he had to do was open it and then quickly X out of it before plugging it into the projector. Why did he plug it in first and then try to X out of it? Like, I was like, come on, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
anyway,
he didn't think that through. You're right, but yeah, he just was scared.
Yeah.
And Fisher Stevens' name is Hugo. I can't find the other chick, but Hugo. Okay. It's not Carolina, right?
I don't think so.
I don't either. I'm looking through the list. IMDb is letting me down in horrible ways. I'm gonna have to do so much editing.
That's what you're here to do.
Thanks. So back on script there. But yes, I found that funny. We kind of started out this episode with the kids, is how we're gonna group them. Shiv, Kendall, and Roman. The kids.
Yep.
Them trying to plan their new network now that they came off of this deal with Pierce. With their $10 billion offer, saying the bigger number. And they're trying to plan out like what they want their network to be. Kendall is being all kinds of Kendall, where he's just sitting there like, I want a news channel about what's happening in Africa. We'll teach you how to watch the news, which sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
As they're prepping for Connor, their oldest brother's wedding rehearsal to Willa. And Shiv trying to prepare for her divorce, as we talked about the last episode, and trying to get a lawyer and realizing she can't get a lawyer because her husband, soon to be ex-husband, has basically hired all of the divorce attorneys in the city of New York, or all the big ones, or all the ones that
she knows
she would use.
In a move that was assisted, she can tell, by her dad. So that kind of like ticks her off. I don't know. Yeah, I like this opening scene again because it's just more of the kids together.
Yeah,
like kind of just building on what they had in episode 1. Now they know they didn't win any war yet, but they kind of won one battle with Logan in like he said, saying the higher number. So they have that going for them. There's kind of like some camaraderie going on between them. Yeah, and everybody's like personalities still kind of clashing, but they're still all on the same page. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, that was a pretty good way to start the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we kind of shifted over a little bit where, like I said, Shiv's kind of doing a lot of moves behind the scenes. And they were kind of hinted at this in the first episode too, of her kind of still keeping her toes in some of the political stuff and her old jobs and not 100% being in with them. So still like having backup plans. And even here, she started working with Sandy and Stu, who are two members that are on the board as they're getting ready to do this giant Gojo buyout of their father's company. And they're all on the board and they're trying to figure out how to get the most money out of Lucas, played by Alexander Skarsgård, which is always a treat when he shows up in stuff, especially Battleship, because I love that movie.
Battleship.
I watch that movie every Memorial Day.
I know. That's the second time we've talked about Battleship here.
Is it? Anyway, so Shiv, I think she's kind of nervous that they made this $10 billion deal and don't actually know if they have $10 billion. So she's like, we need more money. So this crazy deal that's going to make us millions of dollars, we need to make more.
Yeah, and that's just kind of using skills that they all picked up from their dad. Like, what's a lot of money is good, but even more money is better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Shiv's doing. I feel like at first anyway, Kendall and Roman are okay. They don't want to jeopardize the deal because they know what's Alexander Skarsgård's character name again? Lucas. They know Lucas more than Shiv does. They know that he could be scared off at any time and the deal could just completely be ruined. a little later in the episode, and we're kind of hopping all around here. A little later in the episode, I just had a question. This is why I'm asking, like, to see if you can literally answer something for me that I don't know what it really is about. When they're in the bar later on, like, when Connor wanted to go to a regular bar.
God, I love that scene. Okay.
That was a fantastic scene. We're going to talk about that. But I forget his name again already. Alexander Skarsgård.
Lucas.
Damn it. Okay, Lucas. He called Kendall, like, via FaceTime, right?
Yep.
Kendall kind of stepped out of the bar, and they're having their conversation. And in, like, kind of a passive aggressive way, Lucas was letting Kendall know, hey, I'm not playing around. Like, I kind of have heard through the grapevine that you guys are going to use your veto power on the board or whatever to kind of kill this deal and try to get more money. I'm letting you know now, like, if you do that, I have no problem walking away from this.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm being dead serious. I will. Like, and your dad, you're going to lose out on this money. Your dad is eventually going to sell the company, and it's not going to be under the good terms like I'm offering. Is that kind of right, what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay, so all that happened. Kendall basically is like, get you, I understand. Now, I would think this would lead Kendall to go back to Shiv and Roman and basically say, guys, and just be upfront about what happened and be like, he's going to kill the deal. We can't do this. But he kind of, like, smirked and then flipped. And now he's siding with Shiv, saying, yes, we should kill the deal and go for more money. Why would he want to do that?
Because Lucas threatened him. Kendall's not going to take no threat. I think it's 100% spite. He just was like, you're going to tell me this. And then he started getting what the comparables are and realizing that there was something there to it. And he wants, like you said, they're learning from their dad. He wants to get the best deal, and he's not going to be told what to do. And I think, like, this whole series, you know, there's been lots of times where Kendall's told what to do and he does the opposite. You're going to go to prison. No, I'm going to write this letter and rat out my dad in a press conference. Like, whenever he gets threatened with something, he always lashes out. And I feel like it was the same situation where Lucas is basically passive aggressively threatening him and saying, if you do this, I'm walking. And Kendall basically saying, fuck you, man, I'm going to do it.
Or, like, basically,
like, don't tell me what I can't do.
He's basically like, I dare you, in a way.
Yeah, I think he's taking it as a challenge and a dare, and like, no, I can get you to give me more money. Is my interpretation of it.
That might be it. I don't know why I just had some feeling like then Kendall wants the deal to be dead. Like, that's kind of what I was feeling in that moment of him smirking and then him pushing it, is like, yeah, I don't want this to happen, because in his mind, I think he still sees himself as the CEO of Waystar at some point. And if Logan sells, that'll never happen.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe that could be it, but
it could be.
They just weren't clear. I guess they'll probably be clear. They'll definitely clear this up at some point. But it just kind of kept me wondering for a second, like, why would he do that? And then he's obviously then lying to his siblings. So, I mean, nothing really changes for them. They always seem like they're on the same side. It happens again later in the episode. But they kind of are always after each other, ready to backstab. And that was like Kendall's doing, like, leaving important details out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and that's what he does. And it could be a thing that could snowball into something like that, where he's just sees a way for him to get what he wants. And, you know, whether or not that has to do with the money that they have that's being promised to Pierce, or just what he overall has as a plan. But I think it started because I think if he just wanted to tank the deal, then he wouldn't have necessarily wanted to see comparables, and unless it's just a matter of research so he could sell it to Roman, I guess, because Shiv was already on board. So it's going to be an interesting ride to see. As we shift back a little bit, we kind of had Connor's wedding rehearsal, which the kids weren't able to make because Logan wouldn't let them use a helicopter.
Rich people problems.
And they get to the wedding rehearsal, and Willa, the bride-to-be, is freaking out.
Sure.
Like, I can't get married because, you know, there's always been a questionable of what that relationship is since she's an escort. that he's been paying to be his girlfriend for years.
Right.
To the point that this escort is like a part of the family, but he keeps paying her, and then they decided to get married.
Yeah.
So he's like,
run for presidency.
Yeah. I'm giving you a good life so Connor could be president.
Yeah.
So then they get with Connor, and he's kind of bummed out because he thinks his marriage might have fell apart before it even happened. And that's, as you said, when he wants to go to a real bar and drink with real people who work with their hands.
Yeah. Even though he orders
sing karaoke.
Yeah.
Even though he orders what?
Even though he orders like a fancy rich drink. Like he's like, I'll just have a whatever he said.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Connor is like low-key one of the funnier ones.
Yeah.
Just whenever he says anything, it's always just hilarious.
Yeah.
The little bit he does get to say, I don't know why I find him so funny and charming. Because he's above all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he does have those moments, like he said at the end of the scene of them after the whole thing. But he's like, I don't need love and that whole thing. And they're kind of like, whoa, like is Connor an idiot, or is he really like brilliant? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the tree that grows in the middle of garbage.
Right. Yeah. But the scene there at the table of them all in the bar where Connor's still at the table, but he's not involved, but they're having the conversation about Roman sending a text to Logan on his birthday, and they're like calling him a traitor, and that whole back and forth, like that whole scene was brilliant writing. I thought that was like a great interaction between all those characters. All their personalities kind of showed. They can still insult each other, even though they're technically on the same team right now. But I mean, that scene and the karaoke scene were like, I think hand in hand, like the two best scenes of this episode. We'll get to the karaoke scene, I'm sure, but I really liked that. I thought it was really good, really well written and acted.
Yeah, absolutely. And Connor kind of just ignoring them for the most part until it started coming out that they were trying to get more money and or might tank the deal. And Connor's ears perked up because he's set to get money from this, and he needs more money to keep his 1% approval rating for running for president.
Right.
So
he just wants his money.
And he just wants his money that comes from this sale. So he got very involved to the point where he sent a message to Logan and basically let them know where they are and said, Dad's coming to talk to us, when they went to a karaoke bar because he wanted to sing karaoke for one time in his life.
Which I've never seen a karaoke bar where it's like a private karaoke room. Like I thought they were going to be singing in front of a whole place, but it was just like, oh, this is just a special VIP room for the kids, for Connor to sing to you guys, which was hilarious.
Yes, but, that he was singing sad songs just to his siblings and not at a bar. I've seen those like in movies in like Japan. I think there are some here like that you can do that, but I haven't experienced that. I had a group of people who wanted to sing karaoke.
Just to each other.
Just to each other, yeah. But yeah, that's what they did. They went to a private karaoke room so Connor could sing sad, depressing songs to his kids until Logan shows up. And I love the idea of Logan going into the karaoke bar to talk to them.
And nobody once again, they didn't think he was going to, but he did, because like they were kind of talking throughout the entire episode, the kids finally do have something over him. They want to battle over him, and he kind of had to go in and feel uncomfortable and like maybe act a little vulnerable with them to try to like, I still think he has the game plan in his mind, but he's like, these are still my kids. If I try to talk to them as a dad, maybe we can come to some kind of agreement. He doesn't want them to ruin the deal. He has in his mind that any kind of shakeup in this whole thing could just blow it all up. And you know what? He might be right.
I believe him. Yeah. This is like one time I'm watching the scene with Logan, and he's basically saying, don't ask for more money. There is no more money. This is the deal. Trust me. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've done this before. This is my experience. You need to listen to me, and trust me. And of course they can't trust him, and they think they know better. And they're, the kids, Shiv thinks she's hot shit and just can make wrong.
Now she's like the most aggressive one too. Like Kendall has kind of sunken. He still, has a lot of hostility, but he's sunken more into a calmness. Like he's popping off Buddhism quotes and stuff and whatever and Roman's still kind of he's always he's fired up when other people are around, but whenever it's his dad, he always kind of like goes back into his shell a little bit and isn't ever too forceful. But Shiv just doesn't give a fuck. Like she says anything now to Roman, kind of puts him in his place, and I feel like she's the driving force kind of right now behind the kids' play that they're playing at. But yeah, another great scene with Logan kind of just trying to tug at their heartstrings maybe a little bit, apologize his way for the first time in life. And but yeah. Is
that girl's name Carrie?
I don't know. I'm not going to say yes because I have no idea. I call her Punchline now.
Yeah. Well, on the script, I wrote girls newsreel. So I guess I never knew and I didn't take the effort to look it up. Anyway. But yes, I love the karaoke scene. I love the idea of Logan, like I said, trying to be vulnerable. We've had very few scenes where he tries to talk about his feelings and his emotions. So it's always like a joy to watch Brian Cox do that in that character and try to figure out exactly
if it's real or not.
And if it's, or if he's just trying to save the deal or what he's trying to do. But he's basically, the whole point of that was him going and apologizing to the kids and saying, don't screw this deal up.
Yeah.
Because if you try, it will blow up. And after we saw the FaceTime call with Lucas, Lucas it could obviously be a play. It depends on how bad he wants Winstar.
Right.
But he was pretty convincing. Like, just don't do this. So I'm like, I believe him. And the fact that like Kendall didn't say anything makes it feel like he believes it too. So that's where I can come back to your theory that he wants to blow up the deal.
Yeah.
So he's getting the information that he needs to either blow it up or make more money.
Right.
I don't know which path he's going down.
I think he might see a way for him either way. Like if the more money comes, great. You just made $100 million more dollars. If the deal falls apart, well, now Waystar's not sold and he can still try to take it,
Yeah, that could be. It could just be win-win for Kendall.
Right.
So he likes that idea that, okay, you might be onto something there. I could see that being a thing if he really still has aspirations of being in charge and being the CEO and taking whatever this Pierce deal is. If there's some leverage into that to get power, I could see a move here.
We could also be completely wrong, and it could be something totally out of left field.
But, he just wants to score drugs or something.
Right.
His Buddhist ways, or doing something. So who knows? Yeah, I don't know exactly where it could go. But then we ended up with Roman going to see Logan.
Yes.
And he kind of showed up at the house and Logan had a drink ready for him and basically said, I need you at ATN, the news network, and I need a son of a bitch.
I need someone like me.
Yeah. And he's basically telling Roman, I want you to come to this, because they were going to talk to Lucas one last time, or
they're going to go meet Lucas now. Or Logan wants to go meet
Logan
Lucas
wants to with his crew.
And he wants Roman to come along with. Yeah, man. Kind of didn't see that one coming. Did, but didn't. Because if any of the kids are going to fold and go back with Logan, it would be Roman.
Of course.
He's always been like...
He loves his dad.
Daddy's youngest, Yeah. And like the beach, it is kind of a betrayal, but like, I feel like it hit Roman the hardest at the end of last season because he'd always been on Logan's side with Logan. Yeah. Did whatever Logan said, treated him like crap sometimes, but he was always in like the inner circle with Logan until the end of last year. And it's like, oh man, he's booting Roman out too. Like, this is crazy. Like Kendall and Shiv, I can see, but Roman?
Yeah.
So if any one of them was going to be lured back in some way, I feel like it would be Roman.
Right.
It makes you wonder if Roman has been talking to Logan this entire time. And like, he's kind of been like the inside man, inside mule, or is this just like the first meeting? They weren't exactly clear on that, but yeah, man, it kind of sets up for whatever. I know we were talking about last episode we're so happy to see the kids together. Well, it seems like they're like falling apart as soon as
real quick.
This thing's gonna blow up and they're all gonna be on in their separate corners again pretty soon, I think. But yeah, man, hell of a cap to the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. It got me pumped up for the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Got me pumped up for the next episode and wanting to see more of this, like I said, last journey into where we're going. There's still a lot of moving pieces, but this is kind of where it starts getting exciting when they start wheeling and dealing. And we're going to get into Lucas next one. And if this deal is going to start falling apart, that's where the show kind of really shines. So it's super exciting to see us moving along. Pumped up.
When things start going wrong, when the fireworks start, that's when the show really gets into high gear. And we're getting into it.
Yeah, we're definitely getting into some fireworks. So were there any other pieces that we missed that we wanted to touch on?
I don't think so. I mean, I like the scene earlier on when Logan gave his speech at ATN.
Mm-hmm. Pumping everybody up.
We've never really seen him like that as like a rah-rah company. Like he is clearly the leader of this entire corporation, but we've never seen him in like the workspace with everyday people too much because he kind of shies away from that. But I thought that was a cool scene. Like, is he gonna go too far? Is he gonna say something boomer or crazy or whatever? Like you could tell Tom and
they were nervous.
Tom and Greg were nervous, but
and Sid, the news lady.
Yes, the news lady, but he kind of pulled it together there at the end and they loved it. You know, his expletive ladled speech, but I thought that was a cool scene, a different side of Logan that they don't show us too much. I don't know, man. Just a bunch of good scenes chained here in this episode. I think this episode was a winner. I don't think we were really forgetting anything else. I liked everything.
Nope, just Greg trying to talk to News Girl about basically firing her, and she talking about the focus group that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
and her saying she was gonna peel him like string cheese.
Greg needs one gold scene every episode, and he has.
And he had two. He called Logan a Santa Claus hitman, and he was freaking out about him being on the news floor. And then he got to one-on-one fire someone and gets a little bit of power.
And like he had one of the best lines in the episode when Logan was walking around the floor of ATN. He was like, "It's like Jaws. If everyone in Jaws worked for Jaws."
He was zinger after zinger of describing Logan walking around. He's threateningly moseying around. Every line was gold, as it usually is with Greg. So got a little bit more Greg and Tom shenanigans. It was, like I said, overall a good time. I'm super pumped for the next episode and enjoying this ride as we barrel towards the finale, I guess.
Yep, we're here for it.
We are here for it. We'll be here next week with episode 3 of whatever it ends up being called. Is there a name yet?
No, they usually don't do that till episode 3.
Episode 3 will be coming out. Hey, it's actually called Connor's Wedding. So looks like we're jumping into Connor's wedding.
There it is. Because
Connor did find his bride-to-be and she came back home and seems like she could do it. So For now, Tom, or I guess for right now, Connor's getting married and he's getting married next week. So we will be here for that. And any other news or anything cool drops, we will talk about it here on the show. So make sure you don't miss that. So you want to make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us on all podcast social media services. Hit us up on YouTube, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. It's all Raised A Geek. We're easy to find. You can also shoot us an old school email at raisedageek@gmail.com. And wherever you listen to us, Spotify, we're looking for some subscriptions, so you can hitting us up with those reviews and subscriptions over on Spotify. But I think that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raised A Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm Don.
And thanks for checking out the show,
where geek is all we speak.